I think there is nothing less inspiring in magic than doing only magic. I think if you do only magic and read magic books and things, you begin to be in a little jail. I think the other arts are more inspiring because you have a lot of emotion you are not used to when you do magic, and this emotion you can convert it into your art, which is magic in our discussion.
So we have Mario. What's your full name, sir?
My magician's name is Markobi, but
and
my
why
real name
Markobi?
Yeah, actually is Marc Bittar in French. My real name is Marc, mon prénom, and my name is Bittar. So Markobi is a mix of both.
Because I thought it was because, do you know in Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi, he's like a Jedi? So I thought you were like a Jedi Markobi, like
Actually, a lot of people tell me that. They all think, not all, but often people think this is because of Star Wars.
It's true. Well, you do have the Force.
Yes, I have the Force. I really have it. So.
And so I discovered you because I'm from Quebec, and in Quebec, in Canada, we have an event every year. It's called the Quebec Magic Festival, the last week. But this year it was special in 2022. They had the FISM at the same time. And people who aren't aware what FISM is, it's basically the Olympics of magic. Is that correct?
Yeah, we can say it.
And if I'm not mistaken, in the FISM, there's different categories. There's like stage magic, there's grand illusions, and there's one thing called close-up magic. And I think that you performed in that category, correct?
Yeah, there is as magic, stage and close-up, and in stage there are many categories. There may be 3, 4, and close-up there is 3. And I was in card magic categories.
And what happened?
What happened?
Yeah, what happened?
Actually,
how did it end for you? Did you have some success a little bit?
Not really. No, not really. I hope next time.
Maybe next time. Yeah. Okay. So you came in 16th place, 15th place.
Actually, I got the first one. So
what?
I'm quite happy. Are we good comedians or not?
No, I'm trying to. Yeah, no, you're the champion of the world in close-up card magic. So I would consider close-up maybe the hardest one, just because it's so examined so closely, and especially if you're doing that for other magicians, they know of the techniques pretty much. So to be able to not necessarily but to entertain, the routine, it lasts how long?
In the FISM, you have to be not more than 10 minutes and not less than 5 minutes. Mine was actually 10 minutes.
Okay. So you basically, to be able to captivate the judges who come from all over the world, who've seen it all for a period of 5 to 10 minutes, you were able to come in first place. So.
Thank you. I don't think close-up is necessarily the most difficult. I think for each category, the other one are the most difficult. So.
It's true. It's true.
For me, it's the easiest one because it's the only one
It's the one that you know. Yeah, it's true. And well, how would you describe the routine that you did? Since that people can't see this routine really. I think you posted it on YouTube, but usually these performances, they're secret. No one knows what's going on.
Yeah, actually, I decided to post it. And how I can describe it? It's like a very chaotic routine. Like from beginning to the end, there is like a lot of chaos. Actually, the routine is a tribute to Lennart Green.
Okay.
You see how the t-shirt I'm wearing. I mean, this shirt. I don't know the word in English, but what I'm wearing in the routine is like kind of Lennart Green clothes. The same. The style is not Lennart Green, but it's inspired of Spanish school and Lennart Green and a lot of other magicians, like also Tom Mullica and a lot of other, like hundreds of magicians. But maybe if you look at the routine, you see a lot of Green. You see the artists, and this is the two. Maybe some people say Chad Long, but there are some inspiration that is obvious, and basically there is my character also. So chaotic routine with my character, which is a little bit unexpected.
Yeah. No, well, I found because I met you actually. I was able to drive you to the bus station in Montreal after the FISM, so that you could go, and you were going to a trip in New York City. And without seeing your performance, well, I got a sense of your identity and your personality before seeing the routine, and I found that the routine was a little bit a bit of you, but like just on steroids, like kind of like how it's kind of always impromptu, and you're always like just on the edge of something. Like you always have something in the back of your mind that you're trying, and it kind of pops up here and there, and it's unexpected, And for people who aren't familiar with when you say chaotic magic or Lennart Green or these kind of people, basically in card magic, they try to be as clean as possible in their shuffling and in their maneuvers, and this is very spontaneous, and cards are just going everywhere. It looks like there's no particular pattern going on or patterns, but there's always like a chaotic structure that you're keeping in line, where at any time you're able to pull out like information, like a card or a thought of card. And I think that it's fun because it takes people off guard because they're expecting something more serious, and for you to, I think that you, even when you came to do your performance, you came like late to the table, no?
Yeah, actually, to answer what you say before, of course, I'm not playing 100% character like do others sometimes. This is me exaggerated, or me. I'm like, there is a button, and as I was speaking with another magician yesterday, and I say the volume.
You put it on 11.
And as you said, also, the work I did for my FISM act was to break.
That was the Maya.
Yeah.
An animation. It's all in the background. I didn't want to cut you off. It's just an animation in the background.
Yeah, it's a screen.
It's a screen.
I tried to break every expectation and to do the opposite of what people used to see. That was my way of working this act, actually.
I liked it. It's great. Is that and how does it work for FISM? If ever you want to go back, is that every year? Is it just like Olympics where it's like every so many years?
It's a little bit less than the real Olympics. It's every 3 years.
Okay.
Yes.
And has anyone ever won it twice in a row?
I didn't learn my school courses, but I think there is one guy or maybe two that won twice. But I don't think in card magic. I don't think in close-up. I think it's stage it happened, but I don't remember who. But some guys has won, for example, the second prize 2 times, like Roberto Giobbi won the second prize 2 times.
Why?
The guy that was Pereira Fart, that was just second prize with me on the podium, was also second prize at last FISM. So these kind of things happen.
Okay.
Yep.
And would you plan to go back?
I don't think so, but in magic,
it's not because I'm gonna go that you should be discouraged. You should go anyways.
in magic, we always surprised. So I don't think so, but there is a but.
Well, hopefully it's going to be in Italy, so it'd be a great place to sit down and catch up with cappuccino or something.
Yeah, it's less expensive from France to Italy than in Quebec, so we don't know.
Cool. So basically, you accepted the invitation to be part on this project. It's something that that I've been working on. It's called The Process. So basically, what my intention was with this project is to convince some people who create in different fields. Now, so far, I've been concentrating on people who work within illusions, magic, all types, coins, cards, mentalism, whatever, and to see their approach to how they develop ideas. And in my research on how these things are being developed, usually there's 5 steps. So the first step would be inspiration. So what you do on a day-to-day basis to be able to stay inspired and whatever. The second one is incubation. So how do you set down yourself like during the day to be able to decide that you're going to create? Do you put like I'm from 9 to 5, or whenever you have an idea, you just work? The third step would be illumination. So that's the eureka moment. When you have like the sparks come and you realize, listen, the puzzle that I've been trying to crack, I finally found a piece and the idea is launched. The fourth step would be exploration. So once that you have that eureka moment and you have the part of the puzzle that's missing, how do you go about creating your thing? You do multiple versions of it and then you kind of like eliminate until you find which one is the best one. How do you go about that? And the last step, which is implementation. So for you, is the challenge or like your adrenaline rush, is it finding the answer to the puzzle? Or once that your idea is made, you want it to have its own life and you find a way to like market it or whatever. So those are basically like the 5 steps. So if we go back to step 1, which is inspiration, what do you do like just in your daily life to stay inspired? Like I could imagine you look like someone that I wouldn't imagine you maybe sitting down to read and stuff, but I think that you're someone, correct me if I'm wrong there, that you seem, maybe you have a lot of inputs of different kinds of stimulation all the time.
What was the last sentence? Different input of?
That I would have the impression that you have a lot of inputs like for different kinds of form of inspiration in your life.
Yeah, maybe yes. But first of all, in my how I see the artist is not someone that do something for. I mean, we don't do art; we are art. I mean, yeah. we do, of course, but what I mean by that is I'm not searching inspiration.
Yeah,
I have inspiration.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't do it like a work, and I think this is good in art to do not always things like work and to have it like in the real life. So I don't actively, we can say actively in English.
Yeah.
I'm not searching.
Yeah.
Sometimes, of course, like if you're in lack of inspiration, sometimes to watch a movie, to read a book, to explore other arts or other things can help you. Basically, I can say just in life and in other arts. I think there is nothing less inspiring in magic than doing only magic.
Yeah.
I think if you do only magic and read magic books and things, you begin to be in a little jail. I think the other arts are more inspiring because you have a lot of emotion you're not used to when you do magic, and this emotion you can convert it into your art, which is magic in our discussion. So
you say that and it makes me realize something, is that I find that when I consider myself a beginner still in magic, so I'm always like my radar is always up for something new, and I tend to try to stay in like magic thinking. It's become a habit. Like, so if I go shopping and I have my eyes open for, I don't know, I'm looking for something that has, let's say, a certain kind of mechanism, like it has a spring or something. So I always have that in the back of my mind that I'm supposed to be looking for a spring. So I'm always thinking of something that has to lead back to magic. And it's true that if I don't take a break away from that, it becomes, well, for me, not necessarily jaded, but I think that there's too many idea threads going out at the same time. And I need to focus when I need to like finish one completely, you know, or else I'm going to stay constantly in the inspiration. So it makes sense what you said, that to be too much in the magic is not always necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But what I can say is, what I'm gonna say is not only for magic, but for example, in magic, if we do a lot of magic, we start to have, I don't know how can I say it, a magic computer in our brain, which is working without we think. It's working alone. Like we can do, for example, it's an example, we walk in the street or in the forest, and we don't think about magic, and then the computer of magic take ideas, and it can be at the live moment, like we have an idea and we think about it, or we don't think about it and we go back home, and maybe in the night, oh yes, I thought about this bird flying, and it gave me an idea. So and when we have this computer, we are not necessarily forced to think at the right moment the right idea. Work for us.
It's always computing. It's like always just processing in the background.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe sometimes you have to think, of course, but if you do enough, if you do a lot, I think it's like when you do Rubik's Cube. You don't think about it. You can do it in your mind. And with if you play Tetris, it is the same. You don't think about it, and you are doing in your head. So yes,
it's second nature.
Yes, it's a second or maybe a third nature.
Something like it's always computing in the background, and like you're saying, sometimes you think about it all the time, and other times you distract yourself from that. But I was mentioning that you always have cards with you, or maybe not always, but very often.
Very often, yes. That's true. I cannot say no.
No. Do you tend to practice? Do you consider that that's just practicing, or that it's just like a automatic thing?
Yes, I always see this, as I said before, not like a work, because it can be disgusting fast. So I practice, of course, but not like, oh, now I practice 1 hour. Like, this is passion. It's like love. Two people together. Imagine you and the card, for example. Two people together don't think every day like, oh, I'm forcing to be with the other. It's natural. We love, we stay together, and it's the same with other things. And
well, what's to happen when you with the girlfriend?
What do you say?
What happens with the girlfriend then? Doesn't she get jealous?
When I'm a magician, I don't have girlfriend.
But you're a champion magician. You have all the girlfriends now.
So when it's not working anymore, I mean, if you're not happy with the card, you can stop. And it's the same with the relation. It's a relation actually between you and the cards, and you and the magic.
But the pack of cards won't be jealous when you want to try another one.
It depends. Sometimes they are speaking to me. Actually, the Queen of Hearts, I have 4 girlfriends in the deck of cards, so they are a little bit jealous sometimes, but when they are too much, I taunt them. It was not funny, I'm sorry.
So, step 1, basically, inspiration isn't something that you have to run after. It's something that when you're an artist, you live it.
Yeah, I can add. Anyway, I can add. Sometimes if you don't have inspiration, if I don't have, like, I can force myself to leave things, like to go on party, to go travel, to do something, to walk on the nature, to see something I'm not used to see, or to see art that I'm not used to, like read a new book, watch a new movie. Like if you're lack of inspiration, yeah, it's not bad to take something, but it's not like in everyday life, oh, today I'm doing my 1 hour inspiration of the morning, something like this. But if you don't have, you can get it with some effort, of course.
So if we translate that into step number 2, which is incubation. So incubation, what I mean by that is some people, they need to sit down from, let's say, 9 to 5, and they say, I create in that space, and then after that, I go back to my regular life. For me, that's not possible, because like you say, it's something that you live, that you create, and when the ideas come, you execute, you know? But for you, the incubation, like, let's say when you're working on a routine or something very specific, do you have like guidelines that you do to be able to make sure that you optimize your creation time?
Not really. Since the beginning, I had like the law of improvisation. So I was never, or like not often, working on a routine. I was not working on something special. It was like the passion of magic was inside me. You do things, you watch videos, you watch DVDs, and I was always practicing magic. So my routines, as you can say, when I was practicing, is in front of audience. Which in front of audience there are things that you don't play, so it changes. You do something else. There was not like the routine of the week or something like this. So my practice is in live audience, and at home I only practice without that kind of plan. It was not like there is no schedule for me. There is no like, no, I'm gonna work this routine for 1 hour. But for me, I work the material, we can say, that is in the routine, which is techniques and psychological concept, and those I work constantly when I'm doing magic. So the techniques, always working on it. And since I'm not doing like special and precise routines, but a lot of things together, if I work in live audience, I work all the techniques and all the concepts at the same time. I don't know if it makes sense from my answer for you.
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily a question of it makes sense, I understand, but everyone has their own formula, you know, their own reasoning.
I mean, the real answer is, for myself, I don't have the formula.
Okay.
Because of the style of magic I do, I don't have the formula, but I can answer in another side. Sometimes I read, for example, a concept in a theoretical book, and this concept stay in my mind. So the weeks and the months after, I'm gonna work more on this concept. For example, if I learned one new thing, one new technique, not one routine, I'm gonna use it in different ways and appropriate it to myself. So this is the best way I can answer. So for me, it's techniques and concepts that I integrate to my magic. The routine, it's only in front of audience.
Of audience.
Doing it with the years become stronger.
Well, example, for that incubation part, how long did you incubate the routine that you did at the FISM?
Oh, yes. Actually, this is trap question, but I can answer. In my routine of FISM, there is a lot of things that I was doing separately, like the forces, the beginnings, the chaotic. It's all the things that I was thinking this is good in my repertoire that I put together, and I decided to, like, every part of the trick what I was doing independently, but I bring them together, and I bring them together on one routine, and the whole things, it was about 1 year, but but everything in the routine is all my life of magic. So 1 year is not honest.
No. You spent 1 year to condense what you had learned since your childhood or since forever in magic.
Yes and no, because in the French Championship 4 years ago, I was doing something.
A politician. You should be a politician. Yes and no.
Okay, so it's yes and no. No, actually, 4 years ago, the routine of French Championship was not the same, but the parts, there are common parts and different parts. Last year in the French Championship, it was kind of this. So 1 year, 1 year and a half for this routine, and to bring it better and better. The 6 last months before FISM was the most intense part to bring it to the next level. But yeah, 1 year and a half. But with all the ideas.
That you do again and you still have passion for it, or is it already like a maybe a bit blasé?
Can you
like that routine, redoing it now? It's like, example, if you're in a music band and your song is I Love You All Night, and each time that you go on a tour, if you don't play I Love You All Night, people are going to freak out. So do you get fed up of having to do always that thing, or is that just like basically that's part of work now?
I'm not ready to do only this, because my routine is an expression of how I see magic. Is like, I love when things are not plain, and I act like someone which is living things that are not plain. But in that case, of course, I'm gonna do it sometimes, because at the convention, at the lectures, things like that. But I leave it like in my routine. There is flexible parts. This is not, as you said, is not traditional magic. So sometimes maybe things are gonna change during the routine. Like, and sometimes I'm not gonna plan it. Sometimes I'm gonna realize the change at the moment the audience needs.
Yeah, so it still stays organic. There's still room in there. Although there's a structure to it, you can still play around and change things as you go along.
Yes, this is like, as you said, organic.
Yeah.
There is a structure, there is a skeleton, but you move it as you want.
Makes sense. That's why you're the professional.
It's written here. This is a gift from my cousins.
That is a great movie too, Jean Reno.
Yeah, I like it. I love it. I love this movie. For me, when I see
and you're in business.
What do you say?
All you need is the glasses, like Jean Reno.
Yeah, I don't have. I was wearing glasses when I was younger, a lot younger. But for example, the professional, like, if I see this movie now after our interview, it's gonna make me feel more magic, if I say magic routine from an old magic film. Yeah, it's a really beautiful movie.
Phase 3, it's illumination. So eureka moment. For me, like the example of eureka, it tends to happen. I think for me, it tends to happen at night, because that's when the computer is starting to like just calm down, and instead of being computing, it's leaving elements just fall like into place, and sometimes 2 of them they fall at just exactly the right place, you know. And for me, when it happens, I literally have to get up and I work at it, and I don't stop until it's finished. So it could actually last 2-3 days where I don't sleep. Like, so for my wife, that's like, you know, it's rough. She hates to see that because she thinks that I'm like gonna get sick. But it's just like I feel like I have like a rush of adrenaline. Like I don't get fatigue. I don't get anything. It's almost like it's written, and I just have to execute it. I just have to put it out. Like the formula is already there. Like I don't even have to think to execute. I'm just like a vessel. I'm just getting it out. So for you, like when you have, let's say you're working on a routine or on an effect, how do you know like that when the pieces they gel together and it's like you have that moment, oh my God, I'm a genius, you know?
First of all, your wife is still here after that?
Yes, I know. So that's why I know she's for life. I'm gonna keep her for life.
Real magician.
Keep me for life.
That's real magic.
That is real magic, my friend.
Professional.
That is for real.
Definitely.
Yeah, 1000%.
it's very interesting. There's the fact that you don't sleep 3 days, but I understand when you have the passion and you have the ideas working. We all have different ways.
Yeah.
I have like different way to answer this question, but first we can say that if you work a lot, you have a lot of techniques, a lot of things, and the computer in our mind is working. I think this is like muscles. When we work them a lot, we are doing the working part that makes us, we are gonna be strong. Yeah. But it's only when they don't work,
exactly,
that the magic happen in our mind.
Yeah,
like that's it. Like that's really fun, because we work like, if you're learning piano, you play, it's not working, you stop 1 week and then you go back and it's working.
It's true.
But yeah, there is also other parts, which is you say that you don't sleep 3 days. I have to sleep, but sometimes it happens in the night. Like I'm sleeping, and then come one idea in one dream, or not. Maybe I'm not already asleep, but in the head, I go and write it in the notebook we can say.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, it's living. When you live, you practice. I don't think, sometimes there is no, you don't have to search it. Like you practice, and during the practice comes an idea. It's not
sometimes
always,
yeah.
It's not always genius. It's just, you have to know this math, a little bit math. If you think like 10,000 times, one idea at least is gonna be genius, even if you're not. And this kind of math can help you, because if you're not a genius, you can have really good ideas. And that's, sometimes I had good ideas, not because I'm smart, only because I do a lot. So
exactly, it's like a ratio. Like you're saying, if you do 10,000 times, the probability of one thing gonna pop out of all of those that come up, they're maybe not all genius, but they're little seeds that lead to like something else, you know?
Yeah.
And that was a genius thing, because I was just kidding with the genius thing, because it's something that sometimes, like I would have in other interviews, there's sometimes I come across an idea and I think I'm the first one, because I didn't have the input. Like I just came, like sometimes it just une réalisation. It's just like a realization of something. You understand something, and then that was what you needed to complete. And it's at certain times I'm like, damn, I'm a genius. And then after that, the day after, someone tells me, yeah, but someone invented that like 5 years ago. And I'm like, yeah, you have to like start. I love that, because it rips the carpet from underneath your feet, and you have to pick yourself up and you have to start again, you know? So I kind of like that.
But if you have the idea someone had 5 years ago and you think you're genius, maybe there is just only 2 genius, like you and this guy. So it doesn't mean you are not. Otherwise, there is something you said before, like you say, in your head is already script.
Yeah, it's like the recipe is there. I just have to execute it. Yeah.
This is good. First, I finished with the last sentence. When people, sometimes I feel bad, because people say like, oh, you're a genius for something that I know I'm not, and only because I practice more than this guy.
Exactly.
Like 10 hours and me 100.
Yeah.
I know that my ideas came from only my practice, and I was not smart when I find it. It was like by coincidence. A lot of ideas, for example, I have a double lift. This is mine. This is
that's great. Yeah.
There is a lot of theory about it, and this is all precise. I can explain every detail, but it's not like I create these details to make it work. I first practiced, and then I understood how to explain it. But first was not genius, was just only one guy practicing without thinking. This said, I can say about what you say, this is already in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on the philosophy you have in art. For me, art, magic in our case, is expression, is personal expression. It's not like magic expression, is our expression through magic.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
since we know
Magic is
that,
like I paint. It's just a tool. It's
yeah, and it's absolutely not. Are we gonna see the image? If people see back the yes, it's not like the magic here, and you put it in the world. It's like you, like an artist, like an emotional human being, and you have the magic like a tool. Imagine your hands. You bring yourself through the magic and you put it in the world. So when you say it's already script, it's not the magic. It's you. It's your like your emotion that you know now how to translate them with the tool of magic. I don't know if you see what I mean.
I know what you're meaning. What you're saying. Me, it's more along the lines of something technical. I'll give you an idea. Like did I show you the trick with the spike that I put in the mouth and then I swallow it?
Is the spider, you say?
No, the spike is like a metal spike.
Oh,
and
spike, yes.
And I swallow. Okay. Like I bought the spike because I thought it looked nice for magic because it represented something very dangerous. Like it was just the idea was a spike because of the look. Like when you see that, you don't have to say anything. You understand it's dangerous, and you know you don't put that there. You know. But then I was like, how can I do something to the spike so that it doesn't make it dangerous? And it was something technical, like I had to do. Like, was it a hole in the bag where I put the spike and it fell out of the hole? Was it that I had to make a foam spike? Like I had to, something technical. And then in my dream, like this is weird because I usually don't share this thing there. But it's like in my dream, I was still working on the project. And then I went to see myself in the dream, like as if I was going to show it to another person and get an opinion. And then I said to myself, but no, it's super stupid. You just have to do this. And then I woke up and that was actually what I had to do. Like it was something physical that I had to do to the object that I didn't think of in my waking. So then when I woke up and that just, it made the project a success. Yeah, so for me, I don't understand how I got that in my mind. Like I remember, like it was yesterday. I went to my mind. I was thinking about this, and I was explaining it to like me. But then after that, my own self, I showed it. No, you just have to do. It was like super. I almost like called myself stupid. I was like, "You're an idiot. You just have to do this, and it's finished." I was like, "Fuck that! It's genius. Like it worked great." So that's what I mean. That sometimes the formula, it's already there. I just have to do it.
Yeah, so you have it sometimes in your dream. It happens sometimes with me. It happened with other magicians. But what you said was like in opposition of what I said, because I was speaking about emotion. You speak about technique.
Yes.
But you're not really in opposition with what I said, because why you are dreaming of this? Why you are speaking?
Okay, yeah.
Why you have this computer? Because you are a guy that is always dreaming.
Yeah.
Because you are always dreaming. The computer works. So it's not in opposition. Like you're a dreamer, you're an artist, you're some guy that loves to make people dream and also love to dream. So that's why your computer is working.
Yeah, you're right. See, that's what's great about this whole project thing is that sometimes in just discussing, there's like a realization that comes from the other side of the interviewer. So now you're like the interviewer.
Yeah, that's great, because sometimes we see magic like, okay, I'm gonna quote Danny the artist. Danny the artist say, some people say there is psychology and there is techniques. He says it's not true. There is only psychology. Mm-hmm. Okay, I go further. I can say, so you were speaking about, oh, it was not emotion, it was a technique.
Yeah.
Thinking about technique, about how we do something is for what? Yeah. So we had the answer just 30 seconds before. Why? Because we like to dream, because we want to create emotions, to make art.
But then if I go with that logic, so I agree. Like now I agree with you. You changed my perspective. What happens when, like, then that means that when I'm in a good mind frame, when I'm positive, when my energy is good, the tendency of having good ideas will flow better?
I think, but it's gonna be personal answer. and I'm not sure it's true. It's like
No, I don't, I'm speculating because I don't know either. I'm wondering.
I did not prepare. This is everything I prepared.
I know. I saw that. You're the best. You took this so serious.
Also that. But I can say this is a normal line. Like maybe this is a normal line, like the normal life, the shit life. Okay, I think the good ideas, the genius things comes if you're there is a curve like this. It comes if they're really good or really bad. I think it's normal. Normal time is when you practice, then come back a good time, genius idea, or shit time, genius idea. So the basically the emotion are good or bad, but I don't know how to say it in English. La valeur absolue, the absolute value.
When it hits the absolute,
like moins deux, c'est
when it hits the absolute value.
I don't know. Absolute value is the right term?
So, yeah.
Okay. So very good or very bad give very good ideas.
No, I agree too, because I was reading on something in regards to, there's an expression that says that to be a good artist, you have to suffer. And I was reading into that, like I read, like, and it was a thing that people who have a traditional life, regular, with not too many turmoils, they'll have good ideas, but they'll tend, because they didn't have that compression that of life stress, that the ideas won't supersede what is limiting them in their life. But when someone who has had traumas or distress or whatever, it's so condensed that when they do have an idea, that it tends to be outside of the norms. It tends to be outside of the box. It'll be like an alternative solution, because conventions don't work at that point, you know?
I understand.
I don't know if it's true. Like, it was just saying that people who would like tend to have a more regular life would more generally, not all the time, in general, would have good ideas, but are within the realms of conventional, within like a structure. People who are tend to have more like struggles in life, have to surmount like turmoil or, you know, anxiety or whatever like that. People who have anguish, they tend to have capacity to see for alternative solutions that are outside of traditional ideas, from my understanding.
But there is not much opinions about this. I had one friend yesterday that told me, if you are a magician, there is one problem somewhere. I say, why? He say, because we want to make people dream. So there is one problem. Why? But okay, people think sometimes we have to be sad. People say also, if you always happy, it works. In my opinion, it's not really an opinion. Is in my personal experience, more than in my opinions. What inspires me the most is sadness and things that are not happy at all. The dark things. I mean, okay, my English is in there. I have limits, so that's everything that is opposite to absolute. If a song is very happy, it do not touch me. If I cry with a song, it touch me. Everything that makes cry touch me more. And for example, what I wanted to say before is like, when you don't have that kind, it's difficult to dream if everything you live is happy. You always live happy.
That's what I'm trying to express. If your life is always like in a good space, and you've never known what it is to struggle and to have to like overcome.
I go to your point.
So to say I'm super happy is not the same thing from someone who has never had to struggle. Like, they don't know what it is to fight, like get the trophy at the end, you know?
Yeah, this is sometimes paradoxal. We say paradoxal. That people like I don't know in which domain, but I say I was not born with gold in my mouth. Like I was not rich, and I succeeded. But what people don't say is, like, if you was not rich, if your parents were not rich, you have more chance to succeed, maybe, because the guy that have parents with a lot of money, maybe he has the comfort. So they always say, like, I was lowest point and I go, but it's a better chance sometimes is to be in the lowest point. So and in the opposite, you have no chance if you are in a good situation, if we give you everything and things like this. So yes, personally, I think that if we dream, it's because we dream, we watch the sky and we want something. If we have everything, we don't dream.
Why would you want to dream?
Yeah, that's it.
So basically, we just have to make sure that we have the most miserable life possible and be happy.
Yeah, try to be miserable. If you don't have ideas in magic, take a gun, shoot your feet, and then you're gonna have good ideas. Is this interview gonna be online? So my name is
we have Danny Ortiz online here.
But I can add anyway that we are crazy people. So I think not every people are gonna agree with that. No. Sure, people that are happy can be genius also and can have really good ideas, but it's just not my case. And I think not yours also, because we have some common opinions about the things.
I know, it's not to say, it's not to put down people who have a good life and to have a, you know, a stable life. It's congratulations. It's like, it's not putting them down. It's not that. It's just like, from my understanding, people who have more struggles, they tend to be more resilient. Maybe don't
worry. I don't think people that have happy life are gonna watch this interview.
That is true. Usually it's only gonna be people with nothing left that are only gonna look at us.
Imagine you have a happy life. Who brings you? What's gonna bring you to Markobi and Stéphane interviews? So it's not. It doesn't make sense.
They'll come and see us to have a little bit more of what's it called? Disappointments.
Or maybe phase 4 are gonna be depressed after this interview.
Exactly, yeah, depressed, and then you're gonna have a genius idea. So everything's good. You were speaking about the $2,000 yesterday, huh?
Yeah, actually, this joke is because something sad. So also, and that's why people are laughing. People laugh, like we are magicians, but in comedy, the guy that make jokes, I don't know, the humorist. Yeah. Everything that people are laughing at is actually the saddest things in the life.
Exactly. No, it's true. It's like an example. I was raised by my grandmother, so like I was, my parents weren't there, you know, so I had a rough life growing up. But all the struggles that I had, now when I look back on them, I laugh about them and I could share them in stories. And like you say, people don't laugh because it's so outrageous. You know, how sometimes you could look back on a situation that was so despaired or very a negative outlook, and that you were able to like overcome that now and look at it with, you know, with a laugh.
I agree.
So phase number 4, once that you have the idea, it's exploration. What do you do when you have an idea to try and make it the best that it can be? Do you show it to people? I know people, some artists, they like to be on their own and keep it like to themselves until they feel it's ready, then they share it. Do you make multiple versions and have them like kind of compete against each other? How do you go about it?
So as I told you, my style of magic was not working entire routines. The normal way of working is like from A to Z, you have the routine, you work it. The philosophy I had in magic since the beginning and until now is practice before theory. Like practice, you bring a little bit theory, still practice, little bit theory. So my answer is to practice in live audience to practice real in different situations. And absolutely the tip for me that is cheat is like you have to do it perfect before doing it in front of people, because for me it's in doing it in front of people that you're gonna make it perfect. And for the process for me is to do it in front of people, to continue not to read for necessarily a lot, but at least a little bit of really good theory from good magician, to continue to have some inspiration from here, to read a little bit, and also to speak with other people, to ask advice, to speak with other magicians, to confront your opinions, because sometimes they're stupid. Like, so to make it in one word, to make this magic living, practicing in life, thinking in life, discussing and having discussion in live with other magicians or artists, and also living our real life and not stop to doing the things we are using to do. Like before FISM, I continue to go in bars, to go party and things like this, because it's like you're breathing, you're living. If you stop to live, maybe sometimes the magic stop to work also.
But see, like me, I like to practice in public too, even if I drop cars or whatever. And the reason is similar, like to what you say, is that it's not doing it perfect at home that's gonna make it good. It's when you do it perfect in front of people. And when you're doing it impromptu in front of public all the time, there becomes a point where it's again, it's a second nature. You don't think about doing it. It becomes an automatic thing, you know? So for you, do you mean like practice, like you don't mind practicing in public?
Yeah, and I forgot maybe to say something. For me, like magic normally is living art, and we just live in our body. We are just one person, and there are 7 billions. So when you do it in front of people, which is every time different, you start to realize the other out that is possible in your routine, the other idea, the way people think about it, because you have, like, we have all lot of limits, and it's the same. It's not being a genius. It's saying what people say, what people do, the things you're gonna meet in you performing the things. There will be obstacles, obstacles, like it's English. I don't know.
Yeah, obstacles.
Obstacles.
But you said testicles.
It was a joke. I'm sorry. Not always able to be fun. Like, you're gonna, it's not like just practicing in front of people makes it perfect. Practicing in front of people make you realize what is your magic trick. What is the goal of it? Because the goal, you only meet it in real life. Like, and when you have experience of this, you can imagine the people, even they are not here. But always, if you practice, people sometimes are gonna surprise you. Like, for example, you do a card to the pocket, and you can make it as a prediction, as a teleportation, and in real life you're gonna see what's the most efficient. You're gonna find new ideas sometimes. And so I spoke too much to say the same thing, but I think
no, because it makes me think. I realize that when, like, for me personally, like sometimes when I practice a technique that is higher than my capabilities, I realize that there's other parts of me that start to compensate for that. So like when you're performing for someone, the body language is something that is hard to practice when you're not in front of someone, you know?
Yes.
So the posture, when you lift the head to like communicate, like all those little subtleties, that they contribute to the sleight of hand, you know?
Actually, you make me realize that I don't spoke about the main things. I mean, magic is absolutely not in your card routine. Magic is how you speak, how you have your body language, how you look at people. I mean, now you speak about in 30 seconds more than what we say in 1 hour now, because this is like, for me, it's, but I protect myself. For me, it's so obvious. That's why I didn't mention it, because like
No, no. I'm gonna wear the shirt now.
to,
You can give me back the professional shirt. I'll wear it now. Thank you.
you're a okay. Just after the live, I offer you. I sell you. Okay, $5.
Sorry, I don't wear extra small.
Like since you like I did magic so much, like something in life, always in life, that for me it's obvious that it's not in your room practicing a routine, doing Emsley count, and like when I go to convention or to in bars where there are magicians, there is always the one that say, "Oh, I thought about doing an Emsley after this one, but I'm not sure." But sometimes just you can change the situation in front of different audience, and it's not. I mean, it's not important if you put the card like this or like this or like this or like this. If people are not looking, you're just doing in a week time.
Whatever, exactly.
Of
well,
course,
that comes to saying, I find that in performing it for people, technically, I find that there's a lot less to think of if you manage the people right, because they're not looking at the cards. They're just, that's not important for them.
But also we don't have to be in the trap. Like, okay, people that are like wrong are gonna also think that because of that you can have shit technique. But imagine you have a shit palm, okay? In front of people, you always do the shit palm.
Yeah.
But you try to manage them in a way that they don't see it. Yeah. But with the time and doing this shit palm again and again, both is gonna be good. Your palm and also your psychology.
The shit palm. Yeah. So but then you have 2 outs. You'll have 2 outs. You're gonna try and do the good palm, and if you have a shit palm, you'll have another way of doing it.
Yes, and sometimes the shit palm is gonna, every side is gonna give you new ideas, and also, but okay, you need a little bit theory. Like if your palm is shit, if you meet someone that gives you a little tip, if you read like a psychological tip in a book of theory, like what I say is always practice before learning, but don't forget to learn also.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a balance, a little bit, but like if I hope with with the magic circle and control that people, they don't like practicing in front of other magicians. They just hate that. Like even recording themselves, they hate that. And it's something that I try to like break with them. Like I would love to be able to go out with them, just like downtown, and do magic for people for fun, you know. But for some reason, they're very insecure. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's not the right word, but it's as if it has to be perfect all the time, and I kind of I don't like that.
Perfect. Yes, yes. That's the people that I mean, there is a lot. I mean,
because you do magic for people outside, like when I saw you, and it just makes going outside so much more fun, because we practice so much that for another person, we might be with them for 30 seconds while we're paying a bill, but to have them smile because they saw something, I never get tired of that. It always makes me feel good.
There is explanation. I mean, I think every question you ask, it's the same answer, but with other angles. So the explanation for me is that, I mean, magic is not so complicated. Sometimes it's simple.
Yeah.
For me, this concept is simple. Since you understand that you are more important, that your magic is important, but it's a communication of something inside you through the magic. It's not the same as if you think that you're a guy that doing a routine. If you think that, I understand that people are afraid. Me too. If now I'm learning a new instrument, I'm gonna be afraid. But I mean, if you think people are gonna judge you, and you have to be more important than your magic. I mean, magic is important, but it's you. If you don't exist, if only your end with the routine exists, I understand that people but have to change their way of looking.
The perception, yeah. Well, again, like that, I repeat to them, if you do a trick and you fail, well, first of all, the participant might not even know that you failed because they don't know what to expect. You're one ahead. Just the fact that you're doing something with cards, you're one ahead. They do not know what's going on. So even if you do fail, the probability of them going home to say, listen, I saw this guy, he tried a card trick, it was awful. They're not going to talk about it. But if you do succeed at the trick, the probability of them turning around and say to a friend, I saw this guy, he was incredible. He had a card and he did this. So there's no reason why not to try it out because no one's going to really care if you fail anyways. You know, it's not as if...
You can have also other theories to make it better. So people have to understand that when you're going to be good magician is because all the time you fail, is not because all the time you succeed. So every time you fail, you can say to yourself, plus one, plus one, plus one. Make it big. If you think like that, you know that you're growing every time. Of course, I'm not stupid. Sometimes c'est pas agréable. Sometimes it's not nice. What?
Yeah, that's not important. C'est pas grave.
What did you say?
Because you said c'est pas important.
C'est pas agréable. Sometimes you feel
not enjoyable.
Sometimes you're gonna feel bad, of course, and I still feel bad sometimes. I mean, but that's life. I mean, for having these good moments, I spoke about the relation in beginning of the life. If you live with somebody, it's true, 100%. It's not gonna be always good. Sometimes gonna be shit, and sometimes gonna be bad. Sometimes good. That's life. You choose to do magic. That's it. So even if, of course, if you just do it 1 hour every month, you can choose what you do. But if you want to do magic and pretend to be a magician, don't be afraid to do magic and don't only do it in your room, because it's better to fail 10 times in front of real people than doing 100 times perfectly in your room. I know people that are really, 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 really good with their hands. Like they study maybe 7, 8 years or 20 years sometimes. They are perfect, but what is the sense of being perfect? This is for share magic. It is not to doing alone.
I agree. That is going to be the trailer at the beginning of the show. Just that part.
Really? Okay.
It's good because what I usually do is that, like, I have to re-listen to the interviews. Sometimes I go a little bit fast and I try to find the little block.
You have to put the part when we speak about people sad and they're going to be destroyed. This is the best part, I think, of this interview.
Yeah, I'll put that at the beginning, that this show is dedicated to all the people with depression.
But there is something fun about our discussion. We didn't say it, but we do it. Like, look how we are always loading.
Yeah.
Speaking about depression, like, life is fun. Of course, I mean, I'm inspired about sad things, but sad things are fun. Shit things are fun. People that are dying every day. Okay, maybe I'm too far.
No, I understand. Yeah.
We can laugh about everything, and magic is about life basically, and life is about how to speak about it. For me, what's make me the most funny jokes is the really bad jokes about things that are really sad.
Yeah.
This is what makes me laughing the most.
But see, that's the thing. It's like you say, life is beautiful and everything. I 100% agree with you. Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, I had like some serious medical issues a couple of years back, and it changed the perspective. It's unfortunate that human nature sometimes has to bring your back against the wall to realize that life is precious, you know, but we're like that sometimes. And since then, I mean, there's so much fun to have, and you could laugh at so many things in life. It's just a shame that people, like, when they become adults, like there's a level of seriousness that has to kind of go. Like, it's as if when you become an adult, that like it coincides with responsibilities, and that means seriousness, you know. And I kind of try to steer away from that. And another thing I find too with adults later on in life is we learn when we play. We learn when we see people play and we imitate. But when we finish school, we have to stop playing and we have to work. And that's when things don't go well. It's when you continue to play, when you're practicing, you're playing. And the more you play, the more constructive the practice becomes, I find.
I agree with you, and I find it disgusting, like this way of being an adult. I think like you, I agree with what you say, but it's sad, and yeah, it's fun, and
it's great.
Like,
I mean, there are shit days. We can agree there are shit days. Like when you have sickness, it's awful. It's bad. It's not fun, you know. But if you relativize, like there's fun to be taken and enjoyment in life to be taken with the simplest things when you don't put like blinders on too much, you know. Like if you enjoy magic and you enjoy practicing, and your deepest desire is to share a part of you through that piece of expression, you shouldn't limit yourself to sharing pleasure, and you're going to get pleasure by showing that. So it's like a transfer of energy. Like, you know, you give something good and their reaction makes you feel good, so it makes you want to practice more. I kind of like that. That's that.
A lot of points. This interview, you don't have to post it. Post an interview of yourself. It's my interview also. No, it's a joke. It's a joke. No, I mean, I agree with that of your ideas, and you agree also with a lot of my ideas. And when you do magic in front, so we already said it, but I say it again. When you do an ex-girlfriend jokes with the Queen of Hearts, for example, everybody is gonna have the most funny moment, because everybody is suffering at this moment of his ex-girlfriend. And that's the most fun part. And every part that is, like you say, something happy, people don't give a shit, because they need to. I mean, sometimes, like, I'm trying to be a little bit philosophical. So something that the definition of a magic effect is contrast between initial phases and phase. So the contrast, and there is a lot of contrast. If we do funny thing about a sad thing, this contrast makes the loud, and also this is what make people live a good moment, a really good moment, because that's why people see comedy. That's why people like to see that kind of shows.
Well, example, even just Walt Disney, the structure, it always starts, or most regularly starts, with something anguish or something despair, like an animal losing its mother, and then it has a challenge to find a way to, you know, reunite, and at the end it's a celebration because the hardship was overcome, you know. So it's like you said, there has a bit of anguish where if you overcome that, it's like a celebration.
Yeah, that's why, if like when they see this beginning of the movie, maybe they're sad, but they want to keep in the movie. They don't want to say, oh, it's too much for me, I don't want.
No, they stick around.
People want to see people suffer in movies.
Yes,
and die and everything. This is really fun. And also, they want to see the magician fails also.
Sometimes.
So I worked on it on my first act. Like, of course, they don't say it. Like, they say they feel bad if we are losing control, but they feel really good of feeling bad, because when he has losing control, this is exciting for them.
Yes,
also.
So phase 5, if you have phase 5, so you have all these things, you have the inspiration, and then you had time to marinate that with incubation. You had the illumination moment, you were in bed, you woke up, you had the idea, perfect. You went to phase 4, and then you did the exploration, You have the idea, it's a success for you, it works technically. What happens at the end at age 5? For you, was it just the rush of finding the piece of the puzzle, and then it's finished, you go back to another challenge? Or does that become something that you want for it to have a life on its own? I'll give you an example. It could be, you remember, like you were saying that you developed like the double lift, your own double lift? Well, like, see, like now you've perfected that. Is that something that you would want to share with the world and have it a life on its own, or it's something that you just keep for yourself?
I'm not too much into keeping things for myself because it's make me really sad when other magicians do it. Like magician have, like, for example, a 50 years career, and every people say he was doing it so good and he died and we never seen it. So no, I'm more into sharing. I'm more into giving life, doing it again and again. And I'm really young, but I'm into the philosophy of sharing. Like all the people that are important for us, they almost always they share. Like Juan Tamariz shares a lot, Danny Ortiz shares a lot, Lennart Green shares his work, and magic community need it to grow. So I don't think
there's some sort of thinking that everyone has the genius idea, and if they show it to someone else, they're not going to become a celebrity. Like one idea for them is like, it's the difference between a successful career and a bad career. Like you don't understand that. Just sharing.
Okay, sometimes there is business behind. Like if there is some ideas they want to sell really expensive to only few people, of course it's gonna be secret. But sometimes they only, I'm not gonna say names because not enemies, but some really good magician or really good technically, they don't want to share, but they only share in front of live audience. Okay, it's their choice. Okay, if they want to live, if it is their magic only, I agree, but it's not really good for, I mean, if you're really good at magic, it's good to share with the community. It's not forced. You can stay for your stay with that things only yourself and your audience in reality. But I think it's sad. I mean, if that guy we are speaking about always never meet magicians, it makes sense. He don't like magicians. He do it just for himself. But if he's in the magic community and just say always, no, I don't share it, like with a smile, I don't share it, is my idea. It's like, I think always they are gonna tell you arguments, like 1 hour arguments, but no one's makes sense for me. Like they're, for in my opinion, they only try to defend something that is stupid in my opinion.
Well, if let's say I have a rule for me personally. If I do a trick and I screw it up as I'm doing it, I show the trick to the participant. I teach them the trick. That's like, it's a rule that I give myself. And with family or friends, when I have them come over, well, more like friends because family they already know, they'll ask me, let's say, like a color change. How do I do that? You know, because it looks so smooth. And even if I show them, like, let's say I show them a double lift and I show them like a card change or whatever, it has often been said to me that even if they know what it is, it doesn't make it less beautiful. They actually think it makes it more beautiful because now they understand that they can't even see the technique. So I like, when certain magicians are like, don't tell a layman anything, I kind of don't agree with that because for me, on my end, it has never been something that played against me. Each time I've shown technically the trick and I went ahead and I used it in a routine, never has a person said, it's not interesting, I know how it's done. It's the opposite. It's always been, wow, that looks incredible because the way it's integrated to the rest, it's beautiful, you know? So I don't know if you...
I understand. I think is not, I mean, it's true for some situation. I think it's not true for other. I think there are situations when there is a problem if you tell the secret, and other, and like, for example, David Copperfield make train disappear. If we know the secret, I don't think it's really good. But there is a lot of situation. That's my real answer. There is no one answer. Sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's good. But in your case, it depends how you see art, sometimes, and how you see the trick also. Sometimes magic is an art. sometimes it's magic and sometimes it's art. For example, you do.
Yeah. Okay, I agree. Yeah.
Sometimes it's about the beauty of moves.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. When you see the beauty of the moves, you feel something, and you feel magic through the art, or art through the magic.
Yeah.
But this is the artistic part, which is beautiful. And sometimes magic is in the magic. Sometimes in certain tricks, it's more about the magic. Other times, more about beautiful. Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
No, you're right. Yeah.
When you see, for example, a change like this, like imagine someone have a gimmick and the card change, he's not moving, he just do this and it's moving.
Yeah.
I will feel much more magic emotion if the magician put his hand like this and it changed. And we know that there is a manipulation, but it's so much beautiful that we, as I told you, there are a lot of different situations, different answers, but sometimes the amount of work behind something, this is what is beautiful and inspiring. Like when we see some artists, certain artists performing, we just inspired. We know what they do, but we like, oh, I dream to do it like this one day.
But it's because the ensemble of everything. It's like you say, it's magic at that point. It's not just a manipulation. It's the talking, it's the gestures, it's the body language, it's everything.
Yeah, and also the dream, like sometimes magic is magic, and sometimes it's about life. For example, life is you work a lot, you dream, and you achieve a goal. And sometimes in a technique, let's say a pass, you see a really beautiful pass, and it's when you see it, you say his life is a success. He have a good pass. It's really okay. This is not what I think, but in this example, this is an achievement. This pass, not the guy, the pass is an achievement, and you say, "Oh, I want to be like this one day." Or sometimes playing the piano. I want, like you felt 1 minute of really magic. I say magic because I feel it with music and with movies and with books more than with magic. Like you live 1 minute of magic, and sometimes you say, I dream maybe the 30 next years to one day that I can give 1 minute like this to someone. And you know it's work. You know that guy is not mechanical hand. It's work, but it's inspiring. You say like, wow, it's beautiful.
For sure, yeah. Like you said, there's a time and a place. Like there's not always a black or white answer. As I could see, like throughout with the interview that we did, it's often been like a duality of answers, you know. And I must say that I'm a little bit surprised at how I wouldn't have expected from you the artistic aspect to be such. It seems to play a great role in your life, like the expression of how you use that tool to inspire, you know, other people.
So let's take my act, for example, because I know it. Maybe people are gonna see it and try to do it and see that it's not so easy to make trouble in cards and to control them. And it's maybe they are gonna know the secret, and the inspiring thing is gonna be like, I want to do chaos also, and people not feel it. Like it's one goal. It's they know the secret, they know they can do it, but there is like an adventure. And that kind of the magical adventure, like going to a country to one other with the boat on the ocean, on the sea. The magical part is not to appear in the other continent. It's a trap. And that's beautiful. Like the same with the techniques. Sometimes it's also that, because sorry, I changed subject. You say, yes, it played an important part for me. And I did lots of different art forms in my life. there is not only magic, of course. Magic came the last one. So I love to draw, I love to write, and magic is not what touched me the most. But what I wanted to say is, when I'm gonna say it, when I'm gonna explain my, not my act, but the process of my act in a book or something like this. In your act, in a magic, in an art piece, sometimes what makes it really powerful is not what is inside, but what is not inside. For example, all the beauty magician saw on my act, or there are magicians that hate it, and there are magicians. I speak about the magician that liked it. Okay, they see beautiful, but there is nothing beautiful. So they see beautiful because it's beautiful to have control in such a dirty way. So what is beautiful is that there is nothing beautiful. And of course, I like to manipulate. I like to be elegant also. I like to do the techniques like this. And I worked a lot and all that work I did, of course, there is in my act, but in an invisible way.
Yeah.
Because to make it dirty, of course, there are a lot of clean work before. It's quite simple idea, but I hope I succeed in translating in English.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, for sure. It's like all the technical part is done super clean so that it could leave way for you to do the performance and leave it like kind of dirty.
Yeah, and for example, someone that make just one coin disappear, not me, I'm not so good, a really clean way, you can assume that that guy tried a lot of gimmicks, a lot of techniques. He did cards, he did ropes, he did everything. And this is all that travel that make this coin disappear like this. And we can find that in a lot of other situations when we see something really simple, but there is a lot of things behind. People don't see it, but what they feel beautiful is all that things that they feel. And Juan Tamariz say it's like, when we do something, people feel the passion we have, and the passion is also all the time we put inside. So so if you do just one coin disappear, and people, they know that, for example, they know the secret, maybe it's gonna touch them much more than one situation they don't know, but the guy has not passion the same amount.
I completely agree. It's been a great exchange. Speaking of time, we went through the 5 questions, and how did you see the time that we just spent together?
What do you say?
Was it something that you were expecting, this kind of exchange, or?
Actually, I just did it for the $20.
The 20, well, it's supposed to be 2,000, but we could satisfy. Well, didn't I give you a coin already? I thought that was like a down payment.
I already sold it. I'm sorry. No, okay. So no, it was really, it was fun. It was fun and interesting. It was inspiring also because in this discussion, I felt like I don't know how to say it. I felt like I'm a beginner and we are just only speaking about future. And that was a good session, because like, yeah, sometimes we are bored, and now we was like two childs, and I liked it.
Yeah, me too. It often happens that with the discussions that it becomes like lighthearted exchanges and a lot of laughing, actually, because we can relate to like the difficulties of, you know, what goes into this, and it's fun, like you said, to be able to laugh of those challenges, you know.
Yeah, and also like what I liked in this discussion. Okay, sometimes I say things I think deeply in my heart and deeply in my mind, certain opinion of magic and philosophical things, but also sometimes I give you answers. If we have the same live in 1 hour, it's going to be different. So this live discussion is only one discussion, between a lot of other dimensions that can happen. All I said, it was not always my absolute thinking. So sometimes yes, but sometimes no. And so what I can conclude about this, it was living. No,
yeah,
it was like
organic. Yeah, like we're saying, it was very organic.
Yeah. Discussion. Yeah,
and that's what I like about this formula, is that yes, there's like a rigid structure to it. There's 5 questions. It has never just been those 5 questions. It always flows around a little bit, and some parts are longer, some parts are, and there's always a part where on both sides there's like a realization of something, you know, because it's not often that we have the time in our weeks or in our lives to sit down for like 1 hour and analyze how we think, you know. And also some other guests in the past have said that what's fun about this formula is that there's not a lot of pretension.
There was someone calling. He called me like 5 times today. That's why I didn't know if I didn't hear something like 10 seconds.
Yeah. Oh no, I was just saying that what's fun about this formula too is that a lot of people like it is lighthearted, and there are 5 rigid points, but it kind of like flows organically throughout that, you know. So hopefully over time there's a whole collection of interviews. There's going to be like a golden rule that maybe just pop out when you have like a lot of these interviews. Sometimes there's like something that manifests throughout it, you know. I hope that could be of use to other people, you know, because sometimes discussing about ideas, it can sound pretentious, you know, but what I like about this exchange is that it's very lighthearted.
Pretentious, you said, or it was, I'm not sure.
Like sometimes discussing about how a person or an artist develops an idea, it could sound pretentious, you know, like, oh, I think this way, and this is how I see the world. And the way that we are discussing on this, there's no good or bad answer. It's just perspectives. And like you said, the perspective today could be something different tomorrow, you know?
Yeah, so, that's true. But maybe I was only pretentious on one way when I say like, in every side I said, maybe yes, maybe I'm true, maybe not, maybe everyone. But in one way, when I spoke about magicians that don't want share, I say like, I didn't say yes or no. I say it's bad, do not to share. But I really think it's, but because I think it's sad. But all the other answers, no, it's not always sad. If the guy want to die and not give the secret, I mean, we all have our conviction. So if he wants that, also I'm open-minded. But if he pretends to be open-minded, have to share for me. Sorry, it was back 20 minutes ago.
Not a problem. That's the goal of this. It could go everywhere. So, any final words before we conclude the interview with your cards out? Any final words before we conclude the interview? Just after you do the cards out.
I don't think people have to take care of what we are saying because we don't have really good thoughts. You and me are not good people.
Oh, well, you know, that's for them to decide, because I try to, how could I say, it's a facade, you know?
To be nice and smiling, it's facade.
Yeah, because it's easier like that, because it doesn't hurt so much when you realize that I was just fake all along.
Yeah, no, we can start the final words with the real head without
the real us. Yeah. And just finally we could just say that magic is shit.
Yeah, that was as I told you, I did it for the $20. You promised to me. You say I'm gonna so
I'm gonna we'll stop the recording right now so I can send you some money.
Okay, thank you. So
take care.
I'm sorry for not being funny for other people that listen until here. I don't think there are lots.
Probably not, no.